What should society do about educating children?
Yeah, what philosophy of education should society have, in your view?
Well, I wish I could present myself as an example of this, but I have not been a good father. Because to ensure harmony within the family, I had to go along with what my wives and our neighbors thought about as the proper method of education. Now, I'll tell you what I really think. That the moment you get a child, you must recognize that it is as if you had walked out on the street and to the first person you met given a promise of 20 years support, health care, and education. A child is a stranger. But nevertheless, it's very important that a child be treated as a small adult, and that from the beginning you talk to a child as if you were talking to another adult. Don't use baby language. Don't even use oversimplified language. Talk to a child just as you would talk to another person. You will find that by the time they're 3 years old, they will have an amazing mastery of the English language. And will be able to tell you all sorts of things about what it is to be a child that child psychologists have been longing to know, but could never get out of children, because all children had been taught to be Mickey Mouse. So we say to this child that comes into the world, doody 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 doody, instead of saying, quite simply, how do you do? We welcome you to the human race as a new member. And there are all sorts of strange things that we're doing, which we're going to try and explain to you as to what are our game rules, and in the hope that when you've understood them, you'll be able to think of better ones. And but the trouble is, if you do that, see, you'll have an amazingly intelligent 3-year-old. Then you've got to send the brat to school. And when the child goes to school, such an intelligent child will be regarded as a freak by all the other children. Because, you see, when you send a child to school, your child is brought up by all the other children. And that is to say, by the lowest common denominator of the culture. And the teachers have no real influence at all in big schools. Well, you know, there are 30 or 40 children in a class. The teachers are merely desperately trying to keep order. Now, in order to keep these brats off the labor market. And now it's reached desperate situations. I have many young people who are my friends, and they say, what on earth is the use of our going on to get a graduate degree, since we know all these people with PhDs who can't find jobs? What are we going to do? There are dozens and dozens of children completely dependent economically on their parents, not able to find work. So they have to become perpetual students. When you get a PhD, your only recourse is to become a professor. And so all academic institutions teach teachers to teach teachers to teach teachers. So everybody is teaching everybody else. It's like a society where everybody earns a living by taking in each other's washing. Oh, it's farcical. So, but I would suggest as an initial step, if you're adventurous, to treat your child as an adult. Treat the child fairly. Don't talk down to your child. Talk up to your child. And you will find that they can be amazingly intelligent. I've seen some of these specimens, and they are quite something. They're very, very interesting. Whereas a child brought up to be a child, quote unquote, is a bore and a pest. You know, it's a cutie pie, itsy bitsy sort of approach that is just, to my mind, nowhere. That's what Disneyland is made for.